Balake, where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Last night, I did a live stream highlighting the unbelievable effectiveness of the Scientology protests that have been going on all over the country and even all over the world. And I want to continue to highlight the importance of these protests. And there's someone who I haven't had a chance to speak with ever since they got, well, I'm going to clarify it with him. Did he get arrested? Did he not get arrested? What's happening with the charges? Because, guys, I think it's worth noting that Scientology, in all the months, and I got to double check, has it been 6 months? Has it been 9 months? In all the months that the protests have been happening, Scientology has not succeeded in getting any protester actually charged with anything. I mean, there have been arrests and charges, but then the charges just dropped and dismissed without a trial and even without a hearing, and just everything dropped. Oops, our bad. We're gonna let this go. And the most recent example of Scientology just walking away, running away from the opportunity to actually charge a protester with anything was in Chicago. Nancy Drew was famously charged with assault by boob. and when Scientology had the opportunity to show up at the hearing and actually make something happen here, they just no-showed and the entire thing was dismissed. So who we are going to be chatting with this morning is the one and only Denver Scientology Audit, now rebranded J DSA. So let's chat, Jay. How's it going?
Oh, it's good to be here, and thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's see. As of right now, the only two pending legal actions that I'm aware of on behalf of Scientology is they have you and they have DOA charged with what exactly?
So it's 302 PC, which is disruption of a religious meeting, and you know it was pretty interesting how it all happened. I mean, I had been vocal and using a megaphone for less than 2 minutes of that, and I decided to put it away after receiving some advice from others in the area and in chat. So, like, that's reasonable. I have no reason to like question or like not trust what they're trying to tell me. So let me go put up the megaphone. It's not even worth it. And so not even 5 minutes later, the cops show up and immediately put me in handcuffs as I'm talking with a lovely couple about the evils of Scientology. So, I got detained and booked at one of the stations and then released on my own recognizance with essentially like honoring a court date to show up on the 31st for an arraignment. So it's pending still to be determined whether they're going to actually prosecute the case against me, the city attorney's office being so, because Scientology, whoever this individual was, filed a false report against me in terms of me disrupting a religious solemnity or a meeting or whatever that they want to call it.
Interesting. So you're hearing, when you say the 31st, you mean of this month, in 10 days?
Right. So I have an arraignment on the 31st, and I'll be representing myself like pro se in front of the judge, where I'm going to be, essentially pleading not guilty for, the false charges filed against me. And at that point, I will be requesting discovery of the prosecutor. And if they are actually, that's going to be the big day where I determine if I need representation and if they're actually going to be moving forward with this. Because as we just saw with Nance, Scientology isn't able to back their word. They're not able to stand up for what they believe in, and even when they're filing police reports, they're not even able to show up to try to attempt to push the button further and actually get these charges. How would you say, to stick? So I'm curious to see if anybody even shows up. I don't believe the filer will show up. I believe there will be counsel for them that shows up. I don't think anybody's going to show up in my case either. personally speaking.
Yeah. So you've been in Los Angeles for a while now. When you first started doing the live stream protesting, you were Denver Scientology audit. Denver J. Are you now J in LA?
I've gotten a lot of I've been loving LA, guys. Thank y'all all for welcoming me with open arms and love and kindness. Y'all have been incredible out here in LA. I could have a little offshoot, a little JLAX or something like that. I could see something like that. A little short branded merch, like limited run, 10 shirts. But I mean, it's been awesome out here, man. It's way, way different seeing all this firsthand, like how they actually have people driving those vans all day and all night, and they probably truly do believe like they are helping the cause in their own way or something. Like it's sad to see the brainwashing firsthand, and even the mild abuses that are displayed out to the public for the public to see, where you'll have security guards watching over elderly members that are 70 plus years of age with power washers, and it's cold at night, and like I have a sweater on, I'm cold. These guys are like in short sleeves, they're not dressed for the weather, and they're operating, power equipment, and it's just it's crazy to see it firsthand. It's very sad, but eye-opening.
I'm curious specifically what you thought of the fact that you were arrested for simply using a megaphone for 2 minutes. And yet, just the other day, when I was out there on L. Ron Hubbard Way, they had a giant commercial industrial strength power washer being run right outside of the advanced organization where pastoral religious counseling was in progress. I couldn't help wonder if the fact that they do that tends to give strength to your defense in the charges they're trying to bring against you for interrupting religious solemnity.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. I would 100% agree. Like they 9 times out of 10, they are their own demise from how they are not able to have children anymore. Like that is one thing that is going to make them collapse within. But even further so, like in legal cases where they are not even able to maintain consistency with their own narrative, and they're actually, then committing their crimes against themselves in a way where they're disrupting their own religious solemnity. But it's okay for them to do it, just like it's okay for them to break the law, cheat, and steal, and whatever, as long as it's for the greater good, or however they say.
Oh my God, something just occurred to me that hadn't occurred to me before. This idea of interrupting a course room is not a thing. And if you need someone to fill out an affidavit, if you get representation and you need someone to fill out an affidavit, I will be happy to do so. And here's what I'm talking about. In the course rooms, you have the theory course rooms and you have the practical course rooms. Theory is where you just study, and practical is where you do drills. These course rooms are close to each other. They're like, the hallway is only 6 feet wide and the course rooms are right across from each other. The drills that you do in Scientology involve screaming and shouting and yelling. And so there's no such thing as interrupting a theory course room. And the practical course room literally can't be interrupted because it's a noisy classroom. The idea that someone using a megaphone out on the street is disturbing anything is completely and utterly false. And then, of course, you have the fact that they're running an industrial, commercial strength power washer right outside of their own organization during production time. So just keep that in mind, tuck that away in the back of your head.
Oh yeah.
If you need that kind of help.
No,
So
definitely.
I remember one of the things that shocked me watching your early live streams in Denver was how aggressive they were with you at a remote, relatively small. I know the building is big, but the Denver org itself is very, very, very small, staff-wise, member-wise, production-wise. And it's not a particularly new building for them. That building's been open for a while. And yet they sent people out to physically harass you, physically assault you. They called the police on you all the time. You actually succeeded in getting one of those staff members arrested for assault and battery or theft or whatever it was. And I just couldn't believe that they were going to all those lengths to keep someone with a cell phone away from their building out there in Denver. How did your experience in Denver compare to what your experience has been in Los Angeles?
So my goal in all of this is not to get arrested. Let me just preface this. I am trying to spread awareness because I, of 30 years of age, had no clue prior to 6 months ago what the heck a Scientologist was or what Scientology is. So, with that being said, the times that I have been addressed by the law in order to dissuade me or like deter my intentions, it is more eye-opening whether it's here or there. Now, I had watched the protest happen, and I knew going into this what I was getting involved with. And the fact of the matter of what my current life situation is, I felt that I was in a place where that was a considerable option to be able to pursue utilizing my voice for a positive good. So it was something I was aware of, that I was going to get addressed by the law and unfairly being treated by them in terms of Scientology making these false claims against peaceful people who are just trying to bring awareness and hope to open others' eyes within and outside, right? So it's more of a for me, I'd say like it's disappointing to like know the fact, and I knew it to be true, but like to see it firsthand, it's just kind of disappointing. And you know, we could be at a better place as a whole. I mean, those things are just so petty, like to be, you know, getting fought, and it's only to build a black agent report. When Scientology is doing this stuff, it's not to, they're not trying to actually pursue these charges. It's to say these people are dangerous. They have criminal records, like they've been arrested, like they had to go to court and fight these charges and whatnot. Like so,
That's right.
I'm very confident within myself and what I've done in my life. I don't feel as though I have them as a point of influence in my life to have to like reflect on their comments or commentary or trying to paint a different narrative than what I've accomplished. So that's kind of
Yeah,
as a whole what I can kind of say with that.
that's great. Do you happen to know whatever happened with that staff member who got arrested? Did anything get pursued on that?
Yeah, there's discoveries getting presented on the 6th of June, and restitution is going to be pursued. You know, as far as I can say, criminally and civilly, he's having to face he's got a suit to face.
That's good news. That's good news. I hope you are made whole and then some for the damage that he caused, not only to your property but to your person.
Yeah, no, I mean, even still to this day. But go ahead, sorry.
So when it comes to these criminal charges, Scientology's effort to get people arrested and to get them dragged through the court system, you know, I know there's some people who have. I get regularly asked, "Is the SPTV Foundation going to help protesters with legal expenses?" And the answer is definitely no. The foundation cannot get involved in helping people with legal expenses. But the SPTV community in general is more than happy to help with these things. And when Nancy Drew was getting representation, there was a concerted effort to raise funds to help her with that, and I contributed to that effort. And I remember reaching out to you and DOA because I was like, I don't want people to wonder, why am I only helping one person, not the other two people? And I asked you guys, how come you guys aren't asking for help with legal expenses? And can you help everyone understand why there hasn't been a request for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, simply put, is it's extremely important for me to maintain the appropriate request with once I have the appropriate information. So I know that the 31st is only going to be an arraignment to hear my plea and to see if they're pursuing of the charges. If they are going to push the charges forward, then I know I need representation. If nobody shows up and the judge drops the charges, I don't need representation. I've sought counsel, like I've spoke with people, you know, over a lunch, kind of just to get their take on the matter. But I don't want to create a false narrative where I need legal representation and then end up not needing it. That's for me extremely important. So not to have, you know, um, the community is extremely generous and to everybody, and I don't want to um, overextend the community, especially when I'm not even aware of what I need. If that makes any sense. That's the best way I
Okay.
could put
So
it.
it just comes down to the fact that you don't yet know that you need representation. And so there's actually no need for that. DOA said something similar. And I said, okay, good. Just please let me know when the time comes that you know that you do need help with funds representation, and we'll tackle it at that time. So
Right.
obviously, I just want everyone to know that. Uh, let's see. Are you planning on doing any other traveling?
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea, um, you know, is to spread awareness for me to people who anybody that's willing to listen, and even who, if you're not willing to listen, maybe just saying Scientology is enough for you to be like, what the hell was that word? Let me look it up. But to also be able to document the activity, all the ideal orgs across the United States, just for a few days, maybe it's, you know, 5 days here, 4 days there, whatever. Just so it's on record what kind of a flow is happening across the United States over the next few years. So that's kind of where my heart's at in doing so. You know, trying to stay creative with how I approach people. So literally just asking people, hey, you know anything about Scientology? You know, trying to go back and forth, getting their perspective on what the public knows about it as well. So it's just kind of been a traveling experience since Denver, van life in it for about a month now. And, you know, I was supposed to be out of LA at the end of the month. But again, Scientology working against themselves, filing this false PPA against me. Now, if they actually are pursuing after the 31st, they're only going to have me here longer. I'm only going to have to be in LA longer. So thank you, Scientology, if that's what your intention was. Good job.
I was thinking that same thing, except I was thinking of it a little differently. I was like, you know, if they hadn't arranged to bring these trumped up charges against you, it's funny to think you might have already moved on to another location, but no, now you've got to stay.
Actually, literally, that is exactly true. Um,
So really, if they're smart, they'll be like, "Oh my God, let's get this guy out of here. Just don't, no, just drop the charges, guys."
well, yeah, I mean, we all know how that goes. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see. I mean, does it surprise you to see the LAPD showing up to take photos of chalk on L. Ron Hubbard Way because they've received hate speech reports?
So that is an interesting point, and I've had some time to think about it, and because I saw it happen firsthand, and I was like, "What is happening here?" The things that are being written are not hateful. So then, if you look at the legal definition of a hate crime or hate speech or it's defined not only that of what you are writing, but almost like the assemblage of a group to then hate on another group. I don't quote me, guys. Please look it up for yourself, right? Like look into the legal definition of hate speech and all that, how it would play out in a court of law. But from what I believe is that they're almost trying to gather evidence as a group of people is hating on another group. That's my
Mm.
take on it. Uh, so, you know, because we're not writing anything hateful. Just the last, and then Natalie had brought up she had received an email about, well, we need to start writing the quotes of L. Ron Hubbard. And I was like, that is perfect. So the other night I was writing, you know, my wish for you is to flourish and prosper. LRH. You know, I'm writing out all his, you know, quotes of the way to happiness, and it's just they're still gonna wash them off. They're deluded. You know what I mean? So how
Yeah.
can we writing your own doctrines on the sidewalk be hateful?
Amazing. I just want to ask you a little bit more about the community in LA. One of the things about you protesting out in Denver is you were really out there. Was it literally by yourself, or was there one or two other people that would show up?
Yeah, so towards the end and there was more people building their own courage to get out there and use their voice. I in the beginning was out there by myself, and that's why I have the whole idea of like the power of one, because it really is up to you as an individual, whoever is listening to this right now, to make the decision that like make an impact of whatever size that you are wanting to contribute to society. So it doesn't take, you don't have to rely on another person to accomplish what you want to. It really, really like one heart can know what's true, one voice can speak with wisdom. So, that whole idea is kind of why like I went with the power of one. And yeah, because I saw myself encouraging people. And Trashy was the one that encouraged me. There was just one day, Trashy V12 BMW, I stumbled across his channel. I was like, look, he had car stuff on his channel before. He just went out and started like protesting, Scientology. I am literally in the perfect place in my life to take on an opportunity like this. Why am I not using my voice right now? And the moment I tried it, it was just like, God, this is incredible. And I have not turned back since. It's been an incredible experience from the community everywhere across the internet, in real life. Um, the friends and people I've met and learned in my journey so far. It's again, Scientology, as Natalie says, a gift that keeps on giving. Like I would never have had the opportunity to make all these wonderful connections and beautiful friends and see all these excellent places if they hadn't structured this terrible organization for me to speak out against. So, um, yeah, it's kind of cool.
The gift that keeps on giving is a really good description of Scientology these days. When you were in Denver, did you ever see them out on the streets passing out the promo, selling books, doing the stress tests, or not at all?
Not like the stress test. There was only one time on a St. Patrick's Day event where I had noticed a group of publics returning back to the org, and they clearly had pamphlets or something to that effect. And they were in like they were in like the same type of shirt, same branded shirt, but it wasn't like, a vest and slacks. It was very casual. They had, hats on, almost like a fundraiser style look. So
Interesting.
they don't
Sometimes they
really,
will ask the public or the OT committee to contribute to the book selling and handing out the promo and stuff like that.
yeah, but
Um,
they're really not really out there. As you said, it's a slow org. It's older population out there. They maybe get four publics and four staff to match. So there's
yeah.
not really much going on nowadays.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this chat with me. Real quick, my one of my moderators, Free New Project, gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you, Free New Project. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
that. For anyone who joined us a bit later on, you can find Jay's channel, J DSA, at Denver Scientology Audit. Guys, as we end it here, I checked in with sptv.space and I saw we have 4 channels live right now. And I don't think I've done a raid on MD Media 18 before. And
Nice.
he is live right there out on LRH Way. So if you'll you'll hang in here until the end of the video, this live stream will automatically redirect you to his live stream. Let's do a raid, guys. Say hello to MD Media. What is his name, by the way? Do you know?
Matthew. It's Matthew.
Matthew.
Yes.
Say hello to Matthew. Tell him we're doing a raid coming over from growing up in Scientology. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.